Today I'm delighted to announce that this year the Life Like Company will present a Sondheim gem. His classic collaboration with Hugh Wheeler, the musical thriller Sweeney Todd. The role of Mrs. Lovett, baker, paramour and entrepreneur, will be played by a comic jewel in theatre and TV, Miss Gina Riley. Gina is truly an original voice in the Australian arts landscape, an actress, writer, singer and comedian, perhaps best known for creating, writing and producing 4 enormously successful seasons of Kath and Kim for television, but whose additional credits include movies, television series such as Please Like Me and The Beautiful Lie, and countless theatrical credits for MTC, STC, most recently in An Ideal Husband. But she has also performed in Stephen Sondheim's Merrily We Roll Along and Into the Woods, in which she played the baker's wife. Here, this time as the baker, Mrs. Nellie Lovett, and to get her hands really dirty, our Mrs. Lovett, Gina Riley.
Hello. Oh, where do I stand? In the middle?
You can take centre stage where you
like
belong.
Like a shag on a rock?
That's perfect. We're so excited to have you, Gina. This is utterly thrilling.
I am so excited. I love this show. I love this show. It's one of my favourites, so I'm thrilled.
Too. Many people. And before we go into the script that's written here,
I've got all my material.
You know, I mentioned to you backstage that we'd actually met.
Yes, which I
but
didn't
you can't
remember
me. Of course you can't.
The story of my life.
Because 25 years ago, you were in a little production called Mac and Mabel. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And I was one of the chorus boys. I was 11.
I've had a lot of chorus boys in my day.
Yes, I bet you have.
Let me tell you, one way
but anyway,
or another.
It's lovely to see you again. Thanks for doing this. And now back to the script. Gina, first things first. It appears you've gone method and have stayed up all night baking pies for today, is that correct?
Yes, they're ottolenghi. Really, too many ingredients.
Right. Now, what was your first experience of Sweeney Todd? Do you have any particular memories of the show?
I was just talking to Anthony about that. I think my friend Mark Trevorrow must have taped the version with Angela Lansbury and George Hearn, and we binged-watched that, which is how we used to binge-watch, is watching the same thing over and over again. And I was obsessed with it, and still am today.
Excellent. It is. Have you seen the recent Lincoln Centre production?
No.
Oh, we'll have to have a video night.
I've never... No, I don't want to watch anything now.
Afterwards.
Now I have to have an embargo and not watch anything.
It's a cracker. It's
great.
Yeah. What were your initial thoughts about playing Mrs. Lovett?
Well, you sort of go... When I was watching it 40 years ago, I thought they were ancient, the people in it. And then suddenly you go, hello, Mrs. Lovett o'clock. Here I am. So I'm thrilled to be here and alive and be able to do it.
I don't think Angela Lansbury was actually that old when she played.
No,
she
probably not as old as me. Who can
Let's
say?
not speculate.
No, I'm so thrilled. It's a very different thing for me to do. I mean, it's a comic tour de force, the way it's written, but it's a very hard sing, so I'm really excited to get into that. I did say to Anthony, don't pull any faces when I go, sing in the key of P.
Fantastic. And if you were to cook anyone into a pie, who would that be?
Oh, I don't know, maybe a climate change denier or two.
Very good answer. Gina, we're delighted to have you here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And would you please thank Miss Gina Riley? Now, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special moment. Anthony Warlow has been thrilling audiences with his versatility from the moment he arrived on the theatrical scene. He's left an indelible stamp on our industry, both at home and abroad, and has created thrilling memories for audiences with his stellar performances. Anthony's lengthy stage credits range from Enjolras and Phantom in the original Australian productions of Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera, through to many seasons with Opera Australia, and also creating the role of Yuri Zhivago in the Australian premiere of Dr. Zhivago, as well as a very critically acclaimed season as Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. Anthony made his Broadway debut in 2013, portraying the iconic role of Daddy Warbucks in the 35th anniversary production of Annie. His performance won him several Broadway nominations, and in 2015 he was invited to return to the US to reprise his performance as Cervantes for the Shakespeare Theatre Company of Washington production of Man of La Mancha. Later that year, Anthony replaced Kelsey Grammer, I'm a big fan, in the Broadway production of Finding Neverland, playing the role of Charles Frohman and Captain Hook. Anthony is also no stranger to concert performances, and his studio recordings are legendary and span over 20 years. Now, I ask you to please welcome to the stage an official national living treasure, Anthony Warlow, AM.
Thank you. My God. Do I stand here?
Take centre stage, mate.
I'll take centre stage.
Please.
Good morning. Good morning. It was a big biography, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've got more. I had to.
No more. We don't need any more.
Now, Anthony, I hear you've got some history with the role of Sweeney Todd. Is Sweeney a role that has been on your bucket list for a while?
It has been on my bucket list, but I've never performed it. I've never seen a live production of it, apart from, as Gina rightly said, the famous Angela Lansbury and George Hearn. Although before that, the first time I heard it was with Len Cariou, who I shared a dressing room with, as a matter of fact. When I was doing Annie, we had a thing that they call Broadway backwards, where the men sings the girls' songs and the vice versa. And I was sharing the room with Brian Stokes-Mitchell and Len Cariou. And of course, I had to ask him about his experience with Todd. And we shared a few, bits and pieces about that. But I have been asked to play the role a number of times, and once in New York, but it's such a difficult score that it really needs, for me, to learn the mathematics of it, at least 3-4 months. So this is a great opportunity to take the time to get it right. And it's a role, yes, a bucket list role, and it fits into that canon of Gothic characters that I've been able to play.
Fantastic, mate. We are so thrilled and honoured to have you.
Absolutely thrilled and honoured. Thank you.
What do you think it is about Sweeney Todd that makes it so special? It's made it endure these 40 years.
Well, it is what they call his master score, Stephen Sondheim's master score, and I think the complexity of the piece stands alone. And when you want thrilling buttons to be pushed every few moments in a musical, this is the one for it. But at the same time, and I used to say this about Phantom of the Opera, the character of the Phantom is not a two-dimensional, bloodthirsty gargoyle. He's not that. There is so much more complexity inside that character. And that's exactly what I believe Todd is. I mean, he's a man who's been badly done by. I think that he has a certain elegance about him. And recently I've been reading, I'd love to read biographies and what have you, but there was this one book which was called A Trip to Echo Springs, and it talks about the great writers and their abuse of alcoholism, which is an interesting subject. Tennessee Williams writes in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof about the character of Brick going to Echo Springs, which was the drinks cabinet that used to keep giving back. But he waited for what he called the click to hit. And it's that time when you have enough drink that you go, that's the time. And of course, with alcoholism, you need more and more and more to find that. And in a way, emotionally, this is what happens in my mind to Sweeney, that the click kicks in. And it's not just about his obsession for this one man, the judge, and the beadle indeed, but it becomes everybody. And he says in the lyric, we all deserve to die. So there's a sadness about that.
Fantastic. And so dramatically or musically, what are you most interested in? What are you most excited about rehearsing and playing this role?
Well, getting it right musically first is the big challenge, because it is. I mean, when you were asking Gina who would you put in a pie, it would be all those seventh notes probably for me. But it is a difficult score. But I think that the one thing is and this is why it's great to have the time to really learn it. When I have that in my craw, then I can play with my signature, which is I tend to be a lover of lyrics, and when a certain lyric touches me in a particular way, I tend to bend it. And having Vanessa at the helm is going to be a great boon for me personally. Not that I'm going to change too much, but But so basically, to answer the question, it's about getting it right mathematically and then adding my own style to it.
And if you could say one thing to Stephen Sondheim, would it be about those seventh notes or something else?
No, it wouldn't. Actually, it would be, the question I would ask him is, and I've heard this many, many times, is this autobiographical? Now, you may laugh at that, but there have been many discussions about Sondheim's obsession with his work and his reclusiveness in his work. So I wonder, I'd love to actually just bend his brain a little bit about that to see what elements of Sweeney he found in himself.
Wow, okay. And if you were to meet Sweeney in a dark alley, whether it was Stephen Sondheim or not, what would you be doing?
Turn the other way, but take the wig.
Ah.
I'd turn it and run. I'd run for my life.
Now, Anthony, thank you. Would you consider honouring us with a bit of a song?
I was considering, we rehearsed it this morning and the piano's here and the pies are there.
And you're conveniently wearing a microphone.
And I'm conveniently doing that. Yes, I'd love to. And just so you know, this is very early stages, so I'm literally learning this as you are now witnessing me learning a song. I've heard, and this has come from Sondheim's description of the show, that this song I'm about to sing is called Friends, and it's the time in the early part of the show where Mrs. Lovett presents him with his razors. That he says he has no money, but she says, I've got something that I've kept for years, which has been his razors. And she says to him, you can be a barber again, which will bring him in money, obviously. And Sondheim sees this as the only love song in the show. So if you think about that when you're hearing it, it makes an extraordinary difference. It's very potent and very beautiful.
These are my friends, see how they glisten. See this one shine, how he smiles in the light. My friend, my faithful friend. Speak to me, friend. Whisper, I listen. I know, you've been locked out of sight all these years, like me, my friend. Well, I've come home to find you waiting. Home, and we're together, and we'll do wonders. Won't we? You there, my friend? Come, let me hold you. Now, with a sigh, you grow warm in my hand, my friend, my clever friend. Rest now, my friend. Soon I'll unfold you. Soon you'll know splendors you never have dreamed all your days. My lucky friend, till now your shine was merely silver. Friends, you shall drip rubies. You'll soon drip precious rubies. At last, my arm is complete again!